Tonight,
are you kidding me?
Joe Biden's cabinet begins to take shape, the latest on the presidential transfer of power. And what will be the key priorities for Team Biden when he first takes office? A look at his anticipated executive orders. And
the message was about sin that we don't think is that bad.
Did a sermon cause an Air Force chaplain to be involuntarily removed from service? All this and more tonight on Faith Nation.
Joe Biden debuts his national security team. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm Jenna Browder.
Good evening. I'm John Jessup. Well, earlier this afternoon, Joe Biden announced his key cabinet post picks. 3 of those nominations making history.
And the lineup also includes some familiar faces from the Obama administration. Senior Washington correspondent Tara Mershner kicks us off tonight. Tara?
Well, John and Jenna, the introductions came a day after the federal government cleared the way for Biden's formal transition of power to start, giving access to millions in government resources. This as President Trump vows to keep fighting to overturn the election. A major turning point for the presidential transition.
It's a team that will keep our country and our people safe and secure.
Joe Biden introducing his top picks for some incoming cabinet members and advisors, which include Alejandro Mayorkas, the first Latino and first immigrant to serve as DHS Secretary, Avril Haines as the first female Director of National Intelligence, former Fed Chair Janet Yellen as the first female Treasury Secretary, ex-Secretary of State John Kerry for Climate Envoy. At the UN, retired career Foreign Service diplomat Linda Thomas Greenfield. She would hold the position of UN Ambassador. Tony Blinken, Biden's pick for Secretary of State, has been a critic of the Trump administration.
It's a team that reflects the fact that America is back, ready to lead the world, not retreat from it.
The announcements come as President Trump shows no apparent signs of backing down and vowing on Twitter to keep fighting. Still, the White House appears to be clearing the way for the transition of power to begin. Hours after the General Services Administration declared Biden the apparent winner Monday, President Trump's chief of staff issued a memo saying the White House will comply with all actions needed to ensure the smooth transfer of power. The GSA's announcement follows dozens of unsuccessful attempts by the Trump campaign to invalidate election results or prove voter fraud, and growing pressure from both sides.
The president's legal team has been a national embarrassment.
Today, the president again indicating he will not concede, tweeting, "The GSA does not determine who the next president of the United States will be."
The stock market, Dow Jones...
In front of reporters later, he made only brief comments on the economy. Well, Biden is acknowledging the potentially rough road ahead to confirm his nominees through the Senate, which may still be controlled by Republicans. John and Jenna.
All right. Thank you, Tara. Well, so what should Joe Biden focus on first in the Oval Office? Most Americans say a coronavirus relief package. A new Morning Consult Politico poll shows 2/3 want the new administration to prioritize the next phase of COVID relief in the first 100 days. 16% say a new measure is important, but it's a secondary priority. Meanwhile, 67% say Biden should prioritize implementing a coronavirus vaccine distribution plan within his first 100 days.
Well, some big policy changes are coming with the Biden administration. From climate change to foreign policy to immigration, Biden is aiming to reverse course on the last 4 years. The former vice president reportedly planning to sign a series of executive orders overturning President Trump's policies. White House correspondent Ben Kennedy has the details.
America's back.
If elected, the 46th president plans to reverse several of President Trump's policies by executive orders.
The United States will withdraw from the Paris Climate Accord.
But Biden wants to rejoin the Paris Climate Accord.
Climate change and climate warming, global warming, is the next essential threat to humanity.
The former VP wants net zero emissions by 2050 and proposed $2 trillion in clean energy and infrastructure spending.
We will be today terminating our relationship with the World Health Organization.
Again, Biden plans to reverse that move. He also wants to rejoin the Iran nuclear deal as long as the regime comes back into compliance.
Iran has a robust, impressive ballistic missile system that can deliver a nuclear warhead, and now they're very precise, and now they have what they call a missile train where they can fire multiple ballistic missiles at one time. And even Israel, with probably the world's best anti-missile system, may not be able to hit all those incoming missiles.
Iran claims it would reduce its stockpile of uranium if Biden lifts sanctions on Tehran, which Iran's foreign minister suggests could be done through 3 executive orders. Biden also aims to use executive powers in these areas, repealing Trump's travel ban from Muslim countries like Iran, Libya, Somalia, Syria, and Yemen, reinstating the Dreamers program, which allows kids of undocumented immigrants to remain in the U.S., and undoing Trump's 2017 order banning transgender individuals from the military. In a Biden administration, they would serve openly in the armed forces. Now, Biden's team is planning the EO route in case the Senate control stays in Republican hands, making legislation a challenge. We won't know that outcome until early January. Ben Kennedy, CBN News.
All right. Thank you, Ben. Well, Chief Political Analyst David Brody joins us now for more. David, Joe Biden appears ready to enter the White House with pen in hand to reverse course on Trump's executive orders from climate to immigration. What do you anticipate will most attract the attention of evangelicals?
Well, Ben did a really good job of laying a lot of that out, most of it out, if not all of it. I would say a couple of things. First of all, everything you just heard in Ben's piece will be issues that evangelicals will have. But also, don't forget the Mexico City policy, which is in effect right now, which blocks U.S. taxpayer money from funding NGOs, non-governmental agencies, from receiving abortion money and all of that. So Trump has that block in place. It is expected that Joe Biden will reverse or rescind the Mexico City policy. This is something that when Reagan put the policy into effect, Obama rescinded it, and then, or I should say, Bush put it into policy, and then Obama rescinded it, and Trump then put it into policy, and now we're expecting Joe Biden to rescind it. So I think that'll be a big deal on the life issue for sure.
David, yesterday on the show, you described Biden's nominees as safe, establishment, and process. Knowing more this evening, what would you add to that list?
Well, isn't 3 enough, Janet? No, just kidding. I would say no drama. I would say they're career officials. Those are a couple more adjectives. Look, if we thought, Donald Trump's White House was kind of like reality TV and, primetime popcorn munching, entertainment, the Joe Biden White House is going to be much, much different than that. It'll be, honestly, it'd be kind of boring. And what you're going to see from a lot of these career officers is the Biden campaign will say efficiency, or the Biden administration, if they do indeed come in, will call it efficiency. Many others will say that, look, it's kind of a by the book, if you will, a policy. In other words, you won't have a rogue president speaking out and catching many of the folks off guard. So I think you'll see a lot of that.
Brody, Biden's agenda really depends on if Democrats control the Senate. There are 2 races in Georgia that will determine that. There's a super PAC associated with Roger Stone that has launched a Trump write-in effort. The goal is to retaliate against Republicans who did not stand strongly enough with President Trump in his election challenge. How will that effort work, and will it end up actually hurting Republicans' chances of holding the Senate?
I mean, it could. I mean, look, Roger Stone has kind of reemerged as a pretty, and I want to be careful when I say this, but powerful figure. And what I mean by powerful figure is on Parler in certain areas. I mean, he did help with the Stop the Steal effort. And so, as I know Roger well. I followed him for many years, and I keep in close contact with him. And what he has done is he's kind of, he has his niche, if you will. The question becomes, John and Jenna, how big will this niche be, and how forceful can it be in Georgia politics and national politics? I think it's something to keep an eye on. But look, I got to tell you, in Georgia, Kelly Loeffler could be in a little bit of trouble, the Republican there. You know, there are a lot of conservatives in Georgia who are not happy with her as it relates to, you know, her not being a little bit stronger on the Georgia front.
All right, David Brody, we will leave it there. Good to see you this evening. Thank you.
Thanks, David.
You too, guys.
Well, in economic news tonight, a historic day on Wall Street.
The stock market, Dow Jones Industrial Average just hit 30,000, which is the highest in history. We've never broken 30,000, and that's just despite everything that's taken place with the pandemic. I'm very thrilled.
President Trump adding that this is the 48th time since he's taken office that a stock market record has been broken. Some economists credit the start of the Biden transition with today's highs. The Dow ended the day just over 30,000.
Well, still to come, how shopping local this holiday season can include what winds up on your dinner table this Thanksgiving.
Hey, if you're tired and exhausted all day, you can't think clearly, and you really just need a cup or even a pot of coffee to get through your day, then join me, Dr. Josh Axe, for this new series where I'm going to teach you how to transform your diet and use essential oils and supplements to get a better night's sleep.
Wake up to your best life. Call 1-800-700-7000 to get your free DVD or booklet of Protect Your Sleep today.
It's about the competition.
I kind of put that pressure on myself, and I think people had expectations.
It's about overcoming.
We use this phrase all the time, keep chopping, keep practicing hard.
It's about going the distance.
You know, I think as a father, it's my job, you know, to lead, just be the best husband and father I can be.
Watch Going the Distance with Sean Brown Saturday night at 7:30 on the CBN News Channel.
Orphans Promise is committed to loving and serving at-risk children, to helping keep families together, and to creating opportunities for strong and sustainable communities around the world. We're working in over 60 countries around the world, and with your help, we can do even more. There's an old African proverb I love that says, if you want to run fast, run alone. But if you want to run far, run together. At Orphans Promise, we want to run far so we can touch the lives of as many orphaned and vulnerable children as possible. But we don't want to go alone. We're out to change the world, one child, one family, one community at a time. Will you join us?
Well, welcome back. Thanksgiving is just days away, and according to a new Axios Ipsos poll out today, 61% of Americans say the coronavirus has caused a change in their holiday plans. Of that 61%, 29% say they'll only be celebrating with the immediate people in their household. 24% say they'll have a smaller dinner than previously planned, and 12% say they're no longer traveling. Fewer travelers means less people flying. According to the TSA, the number of airline passengers this year is less than half of what it was this time last year. Still, millions are hopping on planes ahead of Thursday, raising the concern among health officials.
What we're doing now is going to be reflected 2-3 weeks from now.
I'm begging you, hold on just a little bit longer. Keep Thanksgiving and the celebration small and smart this year.
Those warnings come as COVID cases surge across America, with more than a record 86,000 current hospitalizations.
All right, well, shifting gears a little bit. The big day, John, almost here. And of course, what is Thanksgiving without a turkey?
I can't imagine. While some prefer frozen fare, many local farmers are seeing an uptick in demand for all-natural turkeys. CBN's Lori Johnson explains.
We have, you know, a number of older folks who come and buy from us, and they say, you know, this tastes like the chicken that Grandma used to make, you know, and it tastes like, you know, it reminds me of the bacon we had when I was little.
Turkeys are for sale here just once a year. Part of that is because of the Wilsons' approach. It took about 11 months to raise this year's class of 350 broad-breasted white turkeys. That compares to just a few months for commercially raised birds. These turkeys have a great life soaking up all this fresh air and sunshine. They eat grass, clover, all kinds of bugs, and their food supply is always plentiful because this big pen is moved to a different location every day. The Wilsons like to refer to these as pasture-raised turkeys, not free-range. They say the term free-range is misleading because according to the USDA, producers only need to provide access to outside, which means cooped-up turkeys can merely be given a tiny door they never even go through. Because of this label confusion and growing concern over much of the food industry, consumers are turning to locally produced food in great numbers. Robin Barnard is a loyal customer who sees both the health and flavor benefits.
It's very good. You know, it takes a little longer to cook it. I think the meat's more dense, but it's very good. It definitely has a different taste to it, much better flavor. And then, of course, I use the carcass to make the soup, you know, the stock after that.
Turkey is one of the healthiest foods around, with benefits that can be enjoyed all year. Those include reduced LDL or bad cholesterol, lean protein, niacin, vitamins B6, B12, and zinc. It can also help with cancer prevention and mood enhancement from high levels of the amino acid tryptophan. Pasture-raised turkeys also have an especially healthy balance of omega-3 and omega-6 fats and are even lower in fat and calories than industrially raised turkeys. The demand for local, natural food is increasing so rapidly, the Wilsons are trying to spread the message and encourage other people to start their own small farm. The Wilsons were city folk just 8 years ago, eating lots of processed food. 4 of the kids had asthma, which the Wilsons say disappeared when they stopped eating food laced with chemicals. In addition to farming, they also learned lots of other people were yearning for a clean diet, too.
As we started to raise it for ourselves and then let our friends try, and, you know, it grew very quickly. For a startup business, within about 3 or 4 years, Scott was able to leave his full-time job. That's and support a family of 11. That's almost unheard of in a new business.
The kids are now homeschooled, so the family is together. They get lots of exercise and have plenty of responsibility, including nurturing what will be the main course for hundreds of Thanksgiving dinners. Lori Johnson, CBN News.
Grounded for preaching God's word? Up next, why one Air Force chaplain says he lost his military job.
Daddy?
Yeah, buddy.
How many nickels are in a dollar?
There are 20 nickels in a dollar.
How do birds fly? Does milk really make my bones stronger?
Yeah.
Daddy, when we die, will we go to heaven?
Do you have the answer to life's biggest question? Call the 700 Club. We'll help you find answers to the important questions life brings your way.
Watch breaking news, in-depth exclusive stories and programs from health to entertainment you won't find anywhere else. The CBN News Channel, a perspective you can trust. Enjoy credible news reporting from around the world. Discover inspiring programs and stories of hope, all in one place from a Christian perspective. The CBN News Channel, a perspective you can trust. To watch the CBN News Channel, download the app or visit cbnnewschannel.com.
Hello, I'm Dr. David Perlmutter, board-certified neurologist and #1 New York Times bestselling author. Wouldn't it be great to boost your energy, eliminate brain fog, and even reverse brain disease? Well, you can, and I'm going to show you how, along with some of the world's most well-respected brain experts in this DVD, Protect Your Brain.
Get Protect Your Brain, a free DVD only from the Christian Broadcasting Network, featuring experts on the cutting edge of neuroscience and brain health.
No matter how many times you've failed in the past, you really can do this.
In Protect Your Brain, you'll discover simple strategies to keep your brain young and healthy. Improve your memory. Discover the gut-brain connection. In Protect Your Brain. Get your free copy at cbn.com or call 1-800-700-7000.
If you want to improve the quality of your life, get the DVD Protect Your Brain and get it today.
Welcome welcome back. Well, passed over twice for promotion and involuntarily discharged. That's what happened to an Air Force chaplain after almost 30 years of service.
That's right, Jenna. Not only did it cost him his job, he says he lost more than $1 million in benefits. CBN's Eric Phillips reports on the sermon that started his downward spiral.
Former Air Force chaplain Kirk Cizik tells me his military career started going downhill after his sermon that included scriptures about sexual immorality. He says never before had he been punished for preaching. Now he's hoping Christians will stand with him.
Men put so much of who they are into what it is that they do, and having that rug pulled out underneath me was very difficult to go through.
Former Air Force chaplain Kurt Cizik is unapologetic about preaching the word. One Sunday in 2013 at Lackland Air Force Base in San Antonio, he says that stance led to trouble.
The message was about sin that we don't think is that bad. If you're having sex with somebody that you're not married to, then you need to stop. I said, you know, sometimes the Christian church has gotten a reputation for being prejudiced. And because we look at one sin, homosexuality, and then we turn a blind eye and don't say anything about heterosexual sin. And that's hypocritical.
What happened next turned into a domino effect that ended with his involuntary discharge.
I found out shortly thereafter that a lesbian trainee had made a complaint about the sermon. I mean, she complained that I had said that all homosexuals were going to burn in hell. I don't know what sermon she listened to, but it wasn't what I preached that day.
2,500 trainees heard that day's sermon, and Cizik says as far as he knows, only one person complained.
We also had an openly lesbian commander working in basic training, and when she heard about the trainee's complaint, she wouldn't let it go. My performance reports were downgraded. My promotion recommendation was downgraded. I got passed over for promotion twice and involuntarily separated from the Air Force in 2016.
That means even with almost 30 years of service, nearly 20 of them active duty, he cannot retire from the Air Force. Cizik says while it's a net loss of more than $1 million in pension and health benefits, he sees a bigger issue.
Even if I did say what she said that I said, it's covered by my First Amendment rights to preach and teach according to my religious beliefs. I mean, either we believe that everybody has First Amendment rights or we don't.
All he wants to do is serve God and serve his country. That's all he wants to do.
Paul Platty is Cizik's attorney.
Air Force regulations specifically allowed him to give that type of sermon. The First Amendment protects his freedom of speech and freedom of religion. So quite frankly, we think it's preposterous what happened to him.
They say the Air Force never put in writing that the sermon caused the poor performance reports, but instead accused Cizik of violating unrelated protocols. He denies that, and after appealing to the highest levels of the Air Force, this is what he received.
Here at the top of the page, it says the reasons for the decision. And then they blank out everything explaining the reasons for his decision. But we know why, because he was disciplined 3 days after he gave the sermon about sexual immorality.
CBN News reached out to the Air Force for comment, and officials sent this statement, which says in part, the applicant, Kirk Cizik, alleges he has been the victim of reprisal. Based on the board's review, they do not conclude the applicant has been the victim of reprisal. The board maintains the applicant has failed to establish that. Cizik reached out to lawmakers and even the White House. The vice president's office referred Cizik's case to the Air Force Board for correction of military records for reconsideration. But officials there refused to reopen his case. Now the Department of Defense Inspector General's office is looking into it. Cizik hopes Christians who learn of this will sound off.
We need some encouragement from fellow believers.
This is a time for conservative Christians to be heard. Letting their legislators, letting the White House, letting the Air Force, letting the Secretary of Defense know how they feel. The real intolerance is not speaking the truth. The real intolerance is preventing people from speaking the truth. That's the real intolerance and bigotry that exists in our country today.
Now that it appears change is coming to the White House, Cizik isn't sure a Biden administration would be as sympathetic to his cause. That's why he says time is of essence for Christians to speak out. In Washington, Eric Phillips, CBN News.
Thank you, Eric. Well, Chaplain Cizik is hoping Christians around the country will support him in his appeal to the Air Force to reopen his case. For more information on the story, you can go to our website, cbnnews.com.
Well, save from the dinner plate. Meet the most fortunate fowl in America next.
I am Region's first ROTC graduate student.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm Ephraim Graham. Welcome to Studio 5.
Get on it.
All that's new and now in the world of uplifting entertainment with celebrity interviews.
There's a higher contribution I will make.
Musical performances. I'll give you my best praise. Plus movie and TV news.
See it and be uplifted.
On Studio 5. Every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern at cbn.com/Studio 5.
How'd you like to get a redo on your health, on your body, on your arteries, so you could have the energy you had 20 years ago? The great news is you can. I'm Dr. Mike Roizen, chair of the Wellness Institute at the Cleveland Clinic. I've written 4 New York Times bestsellers. But even better than having to read all that, you can listen to this DVD and watch it. Protect your heart? Yes, you can. Here's how.
Go to CBN.com or call 1-800-700-7000 for your free copy of Protect Your Heart. Let the medical experts show you their new discoveries on how to avoid heart disease and even reverse it. Easy steps to uncover the hidden dangers in your medicine cabinet, reduce stress, and get a complete do-over for your health. Call 1-800-700-7000. That's 1-800-700-7000. Or go to CBN.com to claim your free copy of Protect Your Heart.
Finally tonight, probably not the best week to be a turkey, but it was a good day for Corn the turkey.
Indeed, Corn beat his brother Cobb to receive the official presidential pardon this Thanksgiving. In a tradition dating back to 1989, President Trump pardoned the turkey today in a White House Rose Garden ceremony. This year, the White House let the public vote on who would be the lucky bird. Corn is a 42-pound turkey from Iowa. And even though he was the lucky one who received the official pardon, both birds will now retire to their home on the campus of the University of Iowa. Nice to see.
42 pounds of turkey. That's a lot of turkey, Jenna.
I'm ready for Thanksgiving. How about you, John?
Me too. Well,
Have a great night.